The Gothic prince Alaric had surrounded Rome in 409 AD. The negotiations went as follows, according to historian Edward Gibbon. The last resource of the Romans was in the clemency, or at least the moderation, of the king of the Goths. The Senate, who, in this emergency, assumed the supreme powers of government, appointed 2 ambassadors to negotiate with the enemy. This important trust was delegated to Basilis, a senator of Spanish extraction, and already conspicuous in the administration of provinces, and to John, the first tribune of the notaries, who was particularly qualified by his dexterity in business, as well as by his former intimacy with the Gothic prince. When they were introduced into his presence, they declared, perhaps in a more lofty style than became their abject condition, that the Romans were resolved to maintain their dignity, either in peace or war, and that, if Alaric refused them a fair and honorable capitulation, he might sound his trumpets and prepare to give battle to an innumerable people, exercised in the arms and animated by despair. The thicker the hay, the easier it is mowed, was the concise reply from the barbarian, and this rustic metaphor was accompanied by a loud and insulting laugh, expressive of his contempt for the menaces of an unwarlike populace, enervated by luxury before they were emaciated by famine. He, then, condescending to fix the ransom which he would accept as the price of his retreat from the walls of Rome. All the gold and silver in the city, whether it be the property of the state or of individuals, all the rich and precious movables, and all the slaves who could prove their title to the name of barbarians. The ministers of the Senate presumed to ask, in a modest and supplicant tone, "If such, O king, are your demands, what do you intend to leave us?" "Your lives," replied the haughty conqueror. They trembled and retired. Yet, before they retired, a short suspension of arms was granted, which allowed some time for a more temperate negotiation. The stern features of Alaric were insensibly relaxed. He abated much of the rigor of his terms, and at length consented to raise the siege, on the immediate payment of 5,000 pounds of gold, 30,000 pounds of silver, of 4,000 robe silks, of 3,000 pieces of fine scarlet cloth, and of 3,000 pounds weight of pepper. He also took 40,000 barbarian slaves from Rome when he went to establish his winter quarters in Tuscany. It is interesting to see the back and forth, both sides trying to assert the upper hand and make bold claims in response to the other. The Romans didn't have much leverage here. They were surrounded, slowly being starved to death, which is an almost impossible position to negotiate from. Alaric's bold claims of wanting just everything, I'm sure, was a ploy to get a good settlement, which is still a negotiating tactic used today. Have a huge ask and set the standard for what you will accept, and if you go down, you're still getting what you want while seeming to be compromising. Alaric could have followed through on his claim to destroy the city, but it would have come at much destruction, and it's not sure Alaric even wanted to destroy Rome at that point. To put this into perspective, 5,000 pounds of gold is currently valued at $62.7 million. 30,000 pounds of silver would be a little over $15 million currently as well. Sieging a city and getting ransom was the big business of the day.